Hello guys, it's Glurmit here and welcome back to the channel. In today's video guys, we're going to be talking about GAC teams and what you should be setting and really going through the details concerning different team compositions. So guys, this is going to be a pretty long video, so if you do enjoy it, please do share it to your guildmates or even like and subscribe because it does help the channel a bunch, and it's just nice to see the payback after spending loads of time making these videos for you guys. Small disclaimer, there isn't going to be, thousands of teams here. One, I didn't have enough time to go through all the data, and two, I did want to keep this video relatively focused. So we're just going to break down the majority of the good teams and go through the compositions. If you guys want to see a video on more of the random teams that you can see or the really good theory crafting teams you can make, then do let me know down in the comments and I'll make a video based on that. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with Rey, and I've tried to do a blend of Rey Ben with Ezra and a blend of Rey Ben without, right? Because not everyone has Ezra. This time round, I have actually included all of the lineups with Ben. In the past, I've had videos like this that do not include Ben, but for today's video, I have included him. I think he's been out long enough at this point that a lot of people are going to have him unlocked. So you can run Rey Ben, Cal, Ezra, JTR for a 34% hold rate. Just so you know, guys, I did block out all of the expired crons from usage, so it has kind of affected the stats a little bit, but at least that way we don't get the crazy holds that we would have seen with the smuggler evasion, for example. You can then switch your JTR for Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, and you actually got to a 35% hold rate. Guys, I'm going to be honest, I'm not really a fan of JTR on defense. I don't think she really does that much for the Rey team. All she does is evade. There's nothing else she can do there, and Cal also gives you that bonus. So for me, I would say go for someone who can at least do that heavy hitting, or at least divert that damage. So Ahsoka obviously increases the hold rate by 1%, and if you want a 2% hold rate increase, you can run GK. Also note guys, you can increase this, and you will see it later, by running specific data crons. Now, if you want to go for a team that's pretty good overall, this had a really good hold rate. However, the one problem is it is just really weak to Baylan. You can actually run Rey Ben, Cal, Ezra, Commander Ahsoka. This is very nice. But obviously, guys, if your opponent runs Baylan, they're going to be running over you. So this is where you need to be looking at what your opponent has and determining whether it's something you want to be trying. Now, if you have the Hermit Yoda DC, you can just put Hermit Yoda in the last slot and you can run this team. It's very nice. The main reason for this is Hermit Yoda is going to be decreasing cooldowns basically the entire time, spamming those equalizers for the health, and it's just going to be really irritating to go through. You can also run Barriss DC. I think this is the one I'm going to be running personally, and I'll show you the lineup I'm going to pick from these at the end. And that is Rey, Ben, Cal, Ezra, Barriss, and you want Barriss's DC. The level 6, the best one if you're going to run her with Rey will be the ability block, because obviously Barriss will then be ability blocking whoever's not ability blocked, which is really nice. However, if you can run any level 6, really, I mean, most people are going to have the good Jedi Vanguard level 6 for more utility in other game modes, but it won't do a lot in this one. Obviously, Barriss's level 9 is insanely good, really good con to have. The next team, we have Rey, Ben, GK, Barriss, JTR, and this has a 16% hold rate, guys. Obviously, these are the ones without Ezra, so the hold rate is going to go down, and you can see why Ezra's kind of needed in a Rey team, because the second you remove him, the win rate is going to half at least. We've then got Rey, Ben, JTR, Resistance Hero Finn, and Holdo. This is if you don't have any characters farmed up and you just have Rey and Ben. Now, if you don't have Ben, you can just put in any other character, but do understand, guys, it's going to be like an 8 to 10% hold rate. It's just not worth talking about today. Now, guys, if you have Rey, Ben, JTR, Holdo, and Cal, it's actually a 27% win rate. So hold rate, sorry. So you can see the second you put Cal or a good character in there, rather than using the standard resistance team, even without Ezra, you're still looking at decent hold rates. Guys, the next is going to be Rey, Ben, Barriss, L3, Shorty. Now, this is only going to work if you have Barriss DC, and it's only going to work if Ben is the weakest, because he's going to basically go under stealth. And the reason this is nice is because of the way that Barriss's DC works. is you either need to kill her at the beginning or kill her at the end, right? If there's someone else present when she dies, she's going to revive everyone and they're going to gain loads of offense. So this is the lineup I'm going to be using because I don't have Ezra, and this is quite a nice lineup as well. But if you don't have a good L3, it's not worth running, because what you'll see, guys, if you look at the data yourself, you'll see that when Shorty is present, the win rate goes really, really bad. Like, in terms of holds, sorry, should I say. So the hold rate is going to go really low because it's just not that great at the moment. But with Barriss Cron, I really like it a lot. Because you can do some good stuff with it. If you have Barriss or Hoda DC, you can run Rey, Ben, Hoda, GK, Barriss. Either of those DCs are fine. Obviously, the Hoda one, you're going to lose a little bit of value because you're not going to gain that insane offense. You're not going to gain all of that. But you will be gaining the cooldown reduction Hermit Yoda, the extra health on him. I still think Barriss DC is better, but this is something you can be running. And then here's another one you can run, guys. You can run Rey, Ben, Cal, GK, Barriss with the Barriss DC if you don't have Ezra. So that's Rey covered. Let's move on to Jabba. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest, Jabba's not the greatest defensive team at the moment. There's just so much that beats him. There are a couple of teams that's good, but it's very niche. So we've got Jabba, Chrysanthemum, Leia, Lando, Gamorrean Guard. That comes in at 18% hold rate. It's just not worth running, guys. Other variants, basically removing Skiff Lando, doesn't really change the team all that much. It's not really worth running, in my opinion. We then have Jabba, Chrysanthemum, Boba, Skiff Lando, and Leia, which comes in at 23%. This tends to be the most common lineup people are going to run. You can switch Boba for Embo. It comes in at 24%, but it's also a lot easier for them to run Nightsisters against this one because there's no Lando. Basically, when you remove Lando or when you remove Boba, the Nightsister counter becomes more prevalent, which means people are going to be trying it more often. And when people are trying it more often, the win rate might go up because it's going to be a 2-shot rather than the 1-shot. We then have, coming in at 28%, Jabba, Chrysanthemum, Leia, Embo, Cad Bane. Now, this is a very, very strong team, and I've got another example to show you guys in a minute. This, if you're going to run Jabba on defense, is what I would recommend. Very, very strong team. You've got Jabba, Chrysanthemum, Leia, Lando, Cad Bane, here coming at 34%. So the second you swap Embo for Skiff Lando, this team goes up massively. However, guys, if you're going to run a Jabba on defense, now this one, I'm going to be honest, is a little bit limited on data. There wasn't many battles done. I think it was only like less than 20, but all data is good data. And obviously, if you guys watch this video and try these teams out, then next time I make a video, the data is going to be more refined and easier to use. But it is going to require R8s across the board. And it's Jabba, Chrysanthemum, Leia, Cad Bane. And the reason this one works so well is because Cad Bane basically does what JTR does, right? When he gains mastery, he gains evasion, which is really, really nice. So this is a really, really solid team to run. If you're someone that took Cad Bane up for the exec fleet, I would just put him in. Even without the high relics, the win rates do show that he is just the best fifth in the team. And remember, guys, I have excluded the previous Datacron set, which did have the Cad Bane level 9, so it's not even including that. You might want to go anti-JMK. Do you know your opponent uses JMK against you? Try the Grit Cron, should I say, which is the level, I think it's level 8 or something for Boba Fett, Sana Django's Focus Cron. Now, the issue with doing this is it's going to open up a lot of off-meta counters. It is going to shut down Nightsisters, but it's going to make Traya a little bit easier to one-shot. But this is a very nice Cron you can run if you know your opponents can use Nightsisters, or you know your opponents can use JMK. Would I use it for high-end Kyber gameplay? Never. But if you're saying a Rhodium, Chromium, and you know your opponent's limited rosters, and you have a limited roster yourself, this could be something you could try to throw them off. So just think about it, but don't rely on this one on its own. Then we have the anti-Afra. This is what I've seen people running just to shut down the Afra Cron, and it's basically putting Boba in the 5th slot in the Cad Bane team. So far, it doesn't look like Afra does very well against this lineup, but obviously with more data, it might turn out that it doesn't work. Obviously, data is limited until it's been tested more. Guys, moving on to QA here. Right, so Queen Amidala, Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi-Wan, Grandmaster Yoda, Luminara comes in at a 14% hold rate. Now, that is kind of low and it's kind of sad, but just remember, guys, if you was to remove Bane, the win rate and hold rate would probably double, right? Because Bane is more or less a one-shot against every team that you face. Also note, guys, if you want to apply Luminara's Omicron, you don't want to have Queen Amidala's lead Omicron, because the lead Omicron, if I show you guys here, what it's going to be doing is it's actually going to be adding some protection up to the team. So you can see it here. Healers and supports gain protection up, stacking, whatever, right? And if you remember what Luminara's Cron does, it's basically going to make it so the second you gain protection up, it's void. So if you are going to be running Luminara's Omicron with the team, don't use Queen Amidala's lead, but for the majority, I mean, everyone's already using the special and unique anyway, so it should be fine. Then we come in at 15% hold rate, Queen Amidala, Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi-Wan, Shakti, and Grandmaster Yoda. This seems to be the most common lineup you will face. It doesn't seem terrible, but remember guys, all of these are really deflated in terms of hold rates because of Bane, right? Again, 15%, you can put Echo instead of Grandmaster Yoda in there. For a 20% hold rate, you can run Mace and Grandmaster Yoda, or guys, if you want to run the Foresight Cron, this is the Hermit Yoda Cron with the Foresight level up, you can actually get 28% hold rate. And I left the last two blank because it's basically the same hold rate depending on team, but that's quite nice. It can really throw your opponents off. And if you have the ability block level 6 and the Barris Cron, you can give it a try. There's no harm in doing that. Just remember, obviously, if you're against Bane or anything like that, the ability block's useless. But in terms of countering the off metas, it could be quite nice. And then we finally finish with the best version. If you have the Krennic DC to the support level up, I think it's like level 12 or something, you will have a 60% hold rate at the moment. This will plummet because this wasn't tested a lot last Grand Arena. However, it does have a lot of promise. Even taking on offense, you can beat some amazing teams. So this is the Cron I would run if you have Queen Amidala, and then I would probably run the Mace and Grandmaster Yoda variant, but it's just up to you guys. You make that decision based on the video. Right guys, moving on to Ahsoka, and my love for Ahsoka is not very good, so I'm not going to spend long talking about her. That doesn't mean she's not good in game. I don't really rate her, but opinions aside guys, 25% hold rate without Ezra, 30% hold rate with Ezra. There's not really many variations in terms of the team composition, so I just left it like that. Guys, moving on to Lord Vader, and you're going to see he is one of the best defensive teams this season. Lord Vader, Piet, Royal Guard, Grand Admiral Front, Maul is probably the best non-clone lineup, and that is a 13% hold rate. The second you throw Apo in there, guys, it goes up to a 24% hold rate. And if you want to go even higher, throw CX2 in there for a 27%. And guys, if you run all the clones together, you're looking at 48%. If you want to know the datacons to run, then I would recommend running the Scorch level 9 from the newest set with the offense for buffs Cron. This will be really, really nice. You're going to get loads of bonuses from doing that. Guys, moving on to the next team is going to be Leia. So I've tried to do as many Leia teams as possible. She's one of those characters like Rey that has so many compositions. So you can run Leia, Saw, R2-D2, Captain Drogon, and Kyle Katarn for a 26% hold rate. You can run Leia, Drogon, R2, Baze, and any fifth for 29%. You can run Leia, R2, Drogon, Rex, Mothma for 30%. You can throw an old Ben instead of Mothma for 31%. You can switch Saw in there, and you can remove Old Ben, and you're going to be getting 31%. For 32% hold rate, you can run the Jin and Radis. This is what I usually ran. Or if you want to go for the best team based on data at the moment, you're going to be running Leia, R2, Drogon, Rex, and 3PO and Chewie. This is a really, really nice team as well. Right, guys, moving on to Qui-Gon. He's actually looking pretty good this season. So we have Qui-Gon, Temple Guard, Shakti, Kelleran Beck, Jocasta Nu. 18% hold rate. My opinion, guys, is don't set this at all. These characters are too good, and you're not really getting the full benefit of Qui-Gon. And the second he dies, you're not really going to be doing a lot. For a 20% hold rate, you can run Qui-Gon, JKA, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Mace, and Kelleran Beck. This is the most common lineup you're going to see. However, guys, if you want to go for the best Qui-Gon team you can run, and you don't have Queen Amidala, which I know a lot of people are in this position, like myself, you can run Qui-Gon, Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi-Wan, Jedna Anakin, and Ki-Adi-Mundi. And this one comes in at a lovely 28% hold rate. Guys, if you want to run the Foresight Cron on this, you're going to have so much fun. It's going to kill so many teams. Even the teams that do counter it, but kind of get lucky with JK not sniping them, this is going to stop that. So you can run that Cron instead. The support one is also nice, but you don't really need that. The Foresight's better. For the next team, any Saw team, I just left it like this because all of them are really good hold rates. It's about a 29% hold rate for any Saw team with the damage dealt for debuffs. Now, moving on to Grievous, because a lot of people do set him. We have the standard old Grievous team. Grievous B1, B2, Droidica, Magna Guard. Make sure you bring the Grievous level 9, 15% hold rate, 17% if you bring Stap instead of B2. If you bring Stap instead of Magna Guard, you're looking at 17%, but if you bring Stap instead of Droidica, it's 24%. Now, guys, if you have Gungans, they can be set on defense again. Just make sure you set the level 6 for the stuns on special and the level 9 for Tarple, where he resets cooldowns. The level 3, you can go for the speed up or you can go for bulk. Either of them are very nice. Now, I would say for me, I think speed up's nicer, because you're already gaining so much bulk just from Gungans playing, right? So I feel like the speed up's better for getting those turns out, but completely up to you. Obviously, guys, remember you cannot use this team on defense if you don't have Jar Jar, so just use the team on offense to beat everything anyway. Moving on to Nightsisters, we have a couple of lineups here. So we have Great Mothers, Morgan, Asajj, Night Trooper, Death Trooper, Peridia. Comes in at 12%. It's completely useless. Don't use this on the defense. If you want to use it on defense, but you don't want to set the best team possible, you can run Great Mothers, Morgan, Nightsister Spirit, Night Trooper, and Death Trooper Peridia, which is a very nice lineup. Or if you want to go for the best team, you want to be running Great Mothers, Morgan, Merrin, Night Trooper, Death Trooper, Peridia. Now, I understand for some of you, Merrin will be too high value to remove from your standard Nightsister lineup, but honestly, guys, my recommendation is run this lineup. It's very nice, gives you loads of protection recovery, and everything else related to that. The other thing is, if you're building Nightsisters, you don't need to be applying Merrin's Omicron here, because what you'll see, guys, is no one is going to be revived. They will be defeated, right? So you are going to potentially get the 100% TM on her, but you're immune to revive, so it doesn't really do a lot. But the reason she's nice here, guys, is because she just does so much things for the team, you know? Like her special here, Shadow Stride, is going to be giving 10% health and protection to everyone. It's also going to be dispelling buffs and debuffs on herself, which is also nice. And it's just going to be doing loads of really cool things and making it so you can't even target her. Yeah, Merrin's got a really nice kit and it works really well with Great Mothers. Also, guys, if you want to mod her specifically for Great Mothers, putting an offense set on her isn't a bad idea, because remember, whenever a Nightsister ally gains stealth, they're also going to be getting some offense boosts. So giving her that does make her hit a little bit harder, but for me, I like to keep her with the Jabba modding just in case I decide to run that in 1 week. Alright, guys, next we have Afra. Now, guys, bear in mind, if your opponent has Hux and iPilot, with the Omicron, do not set this. Or if you know they're going to save it for offense, do not set this, because it just completely ruins it. Afra won't gain the TM at the beginning of the battle, and they're just going to roll you over. However, it does have a 34% hold rate. So if you have Afra's Cron from the previous set, it is worth running this team. And it's going to be Afra, BT1, Trip, Darth Vader, and Chrysanthemum. That is the best team you can run. You can switch some out. You can put Hondo in there. But honestly, guys, I think this is the best team you can set at the moment. Guys, if you have SLKR with Darkside Ray and her Datacron, you can set her. I'm not going to put the hold rates for this because it's so limited for this one. However, we know from 3v3 it's very tough. Just note in 5v5 it's going to be a lot easier to beat, especially if you haven't got all 3 Omicrons on there. JMK is going to kind of roll you over if they decide to bring that with the Foresight Cron. However, you can set it and do well. If you want to do something fun here, guys, you can try Kylo Ren and Mask, Darkside Ray, Sith Trooper, First Order TIE Pilot, and Hux. And you will still get all the bonuses. You can get the extra crit damage, the extra offense, you're going to get extra health, and more importantly, that 100 speed while you have advantage. And this can throw your opponent off. I would again recommend you set this with all 3 Omicrons. They will all activate. Do not panic, guys. It's not like with Ben, where it requires GL Ray in some of them. If you look at her Omicrons here, her first one only relies on First Order allies. And the second Omicron, again, all First Order allies, retaliate, whatever, protection, recovery. And this section is obviously SLKRs, but the rest of it, the ignore and taunt, you can still do, which is really nice. I honestly really like this one, guys. It's going to give that shock and everything else, which is really, really good. So yeah, I would say if you want to set a different team, go a different route. Going for the DS Raycron with Kylo Ren and Masked would save you Kylo to use on other teams. He can still beat plenty of teams without her. Obviously, it's just a little bit more limited. And just remember, guys, if you're someone who wants to start setting Kylo, or should I say Nightsisters with the Merrin, so the new Nightsisters with Merrin, it does open up Kylo for old Nightsisters to cheese some teams. Now, I understand that isn't as good as it used to be, but you can absolutely still run Kylo with Daka, Zombie, and then you can throw armor in there for good luck. Guys, the next team is going to be Quebec. If you do want to set the Jedi Vanguard team, this currently has an 18% hold rate, but if you have the Omicron and Temple Guard, and if you also have the level 6 and level 9 that are decent for Jedi Vanguard, most notably Barriss Cron, you can also set this. But just bear in mind, guys, if your opponent has Sidious Cron and they have the level 6 that prevents revives, you are going to be screwed. If they don't have that, however, there is a chance that you just swipe them and delete them all, because you're going to obviously revive, gain all the offense, and you're just going to kill them. Then guys, we have Omega and the Bad Batch. If you have not got Crosshair, you can run Echo for a 10% hold rate. I don't think it's worth it. However, you can set it with Crosshair for a 19%. Obviously, if you have both Omicrons and High Relics, it's going to boost the hold rate. So I do think it's a good team. However, it can do more on offense, but it's there as a solid team to place on the back bench. And the final team for today, guys, is going to be Trench with his Separatist team, and that comes in with a decent hold rate. I'm not going to put the exact number because it does fluctuate quite a lot. However, guys, this is the best lineup you can run for him, and ideally you're going to want the Repost level 6 or the Trench or Dooku level 9. Right guys, I know that was a lot of information. I know the video is relatively long. Again, I hope you did enjoy it. I wanted to give you guys a really good breakdown of all the different teams you can be running in Grand Arena this season for the best results. Obviously, remember guys, the data does change. I'm going to try and do a video each season going over these teams, seeing what's changed, showing you the hold rates. And remember guys, the first time we have a new Datacron set for that mode, 3v3 or 5v5, the numbers are going to be skewed. Once the next season comes around and we have access to them again, we can then see really what's performing even better. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. My name is Glurmit, and as always guys, have a glamming day.